Okay. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. I'm Sam Stegman. I'm going to welcome you. I'm welcoming you to the welcomer. The welcome this morning is going to come from Marrero. I want to just introduce him. Marcos was working at the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission a few years ago when he first joined the PVGrows steering committee. So I got to work with him in that role for a couple of years, and it was our loss, but the community's gain when he left that position and the steering committee. He went to be. Can we hit the next slide, Caitlin? So I get it right. He's the Economic Development and Planning Director for the City of Holyoke. He was invited into this role by the incoming Mayor Alex Morse at the time. And so I just say that we are lucky to have a person who understands and is committed to and advocates for a healthy food system and all that that means in a role like this. So please welcome us, Marcos.
Good morning. I am definitely the person that is listed up there. I'm Marcos Marrero. Thank you to PVGrows, Sam and Javiera for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to welcome you all this morning. As a former board member, it's great to be before all of you and just getting to see most of the people I don't see anymore because I'm out in my planning and economic development cave or in other events. So it's nice to see you all. Welcome to Holyoke and this beautiful middle space that is open square. You're stepping into the city in a really important time of Holyoke's evolution. We're known as the paper city, but a place that a few years ago stopped relying on paper to create its jobs and drive its economy. We're not like many other industrial cities in the United States where industry has its driving industry has moved on. And places that have to look for what are the new things that are going to come to drive its economy and its communities. We're in an economy that no longer is going to rely, for the most part, on just one type of industry to make its jobs grow, one type of industry to create its tax revenue. The current jobs are being defined now. They're being defined today in conversations like these and in forums like these. With the coming of the Massachusetts Green Computing Center, one example of how this city has started looking at new ways of creating jobs. The computing center came in, and it really forced us to look at how do we drive innovation, not just through university research, which is what primarily drives the computing center, but in all facets of our local economy, right? So. One example of that was, okay, now we have this great computing center. Can we take its waste heat and create a commercial greenhouse, right? Now, unfortunately, the computing center was so green, it didn't produce as much heat as we would have liked, right? So that we could use the waste. Well, no, not enough waste there. But, that's not meant to be disheartening. It's meant to say that there are challenges in the way, and I'm sure you'll all be discussing those in your forums later this morning. But the intent is still there, right? We're still interested in pursuing new ways of food. Oh, I'll be done way before 3 minutes from now. I'm already on my way. We're still interested in ways of exploring new ways of producing food, and of course, new ways of in our revitalization strategies, right, addressing the food desert or the food swamp issues that afflict several neighborhoods in the city, and how to do that, justly and fairly with new jobs. So this conference topic is timely, of course, and critical for the framework of not just the city of Holyoke, but cities like us and regions like us. Your discussions today will lead to a better understanding of what we're facing in the food world. And I definitely welcome the ideas that come out of here. So again, I want to welcome welcome your ideas, and welcome this conference to Holyoke, and fun times. Have fun today.
All right. Welcome again. Thanks for coming out on this gorgeous day. And this space, I love this space, and there are over 100, maybe 130 of us here today. We're going to be in this space all day. So I always like to start out with just encouraging people to embrace the closeness, embrace the noise, use the outdoor spaces as we do breakouts and things, if that's feasible. I just want to appreciate you all for coming out, and I want to appreciate also our sponsors for helping make this a free and accessible event. There are little plaques around with the logos of our 26 sponsors. And along with that, the food that is here we'll hear more about the food that's here. You are welcome and invited to make a donation to cover food costs. We welcome that, but it's also optional. And I think that's the sort of logistical stuff I want to cover. I'll introduce myself again. I'm Sam Stegman. I work at CISA, Community Involved in Sustaining Agriculture. And CISA takes in the funding for PVGrows and hosts and staffs PVGrows, which is an independent network. I kind of do this spiel at the beginning of each forum. Raise your hand if this is the first PVGrows forum you've been to. Right, so that's about, usually it's about half the people, which is great, in my opinion. We get this consistency and this new influx of energy. The network is just that. It functions like a professional network, in my opinion, although you don't need to be paid, doing some kind of paid food system work to be involved. If you're dedicated to creating a healthy food system in the Pioneer Valley, please participate. The networking is a piece of these events, which we're now doing once a year. We had done them twice a year, so this is the 6th or 7th, I think, of these. We're trying to build in more networking. This one's going to be a little looser in the afternoon than usual in terms of less structure and more networking time. And I encourage you to reach out to people that you don't know. The learning piece is a lot in these forums. We take on a different topic or issue each forum. I just want to make clear that we don't do follow-up. This is like a one-off event on an aspect of the food system. Last time it was farm to institution. Before that it was food security. Before that it was entrepreneurship. Because we're a network, we don't do programs. We just spur you to learn about and interact on an issue so that you can do your work better in your community, in your organization. And then the last is, there is an action piece, and it takes the form of working groups. So I'll talk about those a little more. A working group is where you find like-minded people that you want to work together with. Who we are, PVGrows now has 900 members. It's free to be a member. That's in the past 5 years. There's two sides. There's this network side, and then there's the food business, which includes farms, financing, which I'll talk more about. Pause right there. On the network side, about 400 people have come to these forums of those 900 members. We have a 13-person steering committee that puts this all together. On the food business financing side, we have a 14-person working group that does the PVGrows, coordinates the PVGrows loan fund. So the working groups on the network side, if you could go forward, race in the food system, you'll hear more about their upcoming event, job creation, land, and higher education. And then working groups on the finance side include slow money and entrepreneurship, which I just put it up there. It doesn't exist yet, but I really wanted to. So, not just me, but a lot of people have expressed an interest in it. The numbers there is the number of people who've expressed an interest, kind of signed up for those working groups. Some working groups have, the PVGrows Loan Fund is a project that started as a working group 4.5 years ago and has met every single month for all that time. Other working groups have been one 45-minute lunch conversation and then never gone further. So that's kind of like the pieces that we do. I just want to say that I said we're a network and we don't do programs, and that's totally not true. We in fact do one program, which is this loan fund. Okay, the last from me is that the vision. In a network, I think you can't get everybody to agree on stuff, and you shouldn't try. But if there's a general shared vision, that's the cohesion of the network. So vibrant farms and gardens, justice and fairness, healthy people, sustainable ecosystems, thriving local economies, and strong communities. These are 6 indicators of a healthy food system. Comes from the Whole Measures for Community Food Systems report, and we've essentially adopted it. I've shown it at every forum I've been to, and no one's ever disagreed with it, so it's too late. So I'm going to leave that slide up, and I'm going to pass it off to Javiera Benavente. And I just want to say, before I do that, I have to sing her praises because I've gotten to work with her a number of times over the years and have, from the very start, said I would love to work with her in a more day-to-day way, and I've gotten to on this forum. She's joined the PVGrows team. She's put together this event, all the presentations, all the content, and all the logistics. She's done a heroic job and humbled me greatly because she actually got a good sleep last night, whereas I never did before, and I did when she's doing it. But I've learned so much from her over the years about facilitation and leadership and listening and all those things. So thank you and welcome.
I'm a little bit shorter than Sam. Thank you, Sam, and thanks everybody for being here. This forum has been several months in the making, and it's just a real pleasure to see all of you here coming together to dig into this really important topic that we're going to be really digging into today, which is the hands that feed us good food and good jobs in the Pioneer Valley. So I'm going to say a little bit about why we chose this theme and how we chose this theme. Back in the fall, when the PVGrows Steering Committee started thinking about what the theme for this year's forum should be, I actually wasn't a part of those conversations, but I've been hearing about it. One of the topics of interest that emerged was job creation in the local food system, which is something that we're really committed to. And as we were discussing that, our shared commitment to workers' rights, equity, and justice around those jobs emerged as an area that we thought was really, really important. And it was rooted in an understanding that we don't just want to create more local food jobs, we want those jobs to be good jobs for workers. And they aren't always, so it's something that we need to pay attention to. And this really quickly became the primary focus of the forum because we recognize that these issues, if left unattended to, will keep us from creating a truly healthy food system. And that's one of the commitments that we have with these forums is really to highlight and illuminate issues that, if left unattended to, will keep us from doing what we want to do, which is create a healthy food system. So we really try to tackle the issues that are hard to tackle, that haven't been discussed or talked about before, and that maybe have remained kind of on the sidelines or in the shadows. The 6 indicators of a healthy food system that Sam mentioned in many ways serve as a guidepost for our work, and they also serve as a way to assess where we might be falling short. So while these forums have become a place where we come together to celebrate successes, they've also become a place where we come to shed light on what's keeping us from fulfilling the promise of a healthy food system, as I mentioned before. So what do we mean by good jobs? Good jobs really, I think, mean different things to different people, but we've identified 3 components that make up good jobs. And they're broad, and we can have discussion about, the specificity of them today, but they include fair wages, quality working conditions, and workers having a say in their workplace. We really feel like those are 3 really important components that make up a good job. And of course, creating these kinds of jobs isn't easy. It's actually quite challenging and often a struggle. But one of the things that I take inspiration from and that makes me feel hopeful is the work that's happening nationally that food workers are leading to make food work more visible, and also to build a growing movement for fair wages and just working conditions within the food system, and really specifically within the industrial food system. And some of the organizations doing this work are the Food Chain Workers Alliance, the Restaurant Opportunities Center, and the Coalition for Immokalee Workers. And if you're not familiar with those organizations and their work, I really encourage you to check them out online. So that's some work that's happening nationally. But I want to say that, that said, there are some really particular challenges facing local businesses and the local food system when it comes to creating good jobs. It's not easy to compete with industrial food businesses and produce high quality food at relatively affordable prices and pay yourself and your workers a livable wage. Some might believe that we have to choose, either have good food or have good jobs. But the truth is that we need both, and I firmly believe that both are possible. So I'm just going to wrap up by saying that what we're trying to achieve here in terms of creating good food jobs, both good food and good jobs, is possible. And it's possible when we come together and have the courage to look at these issues in all their complexity, to talk honestly with one another about our successes, about our failures, about our challenges, and about our differences. And it's possible when we come together to learn about what's been working and what's not been working from those who are at the front lines of making this happen. And that's what we're here to do today, to begin a conversation about how we can create good food jobs in the Pioneer Valley. Thank you. Just review, I want to just give you all a little bit overview of the day and talk about a few logistics. This is the agenda for the day and the way that it will flow. We have a couple of keynotes coming up. And then we're going to have a little interactive activity followed by a panel discussion. And then we're going to have some small breakout groups where folks are going to get to dig into the various aspects of this topic. And then we're going to close and have lunch.